Just got back from my last test run before I write up the review. The Asics Megablast. To give a little bit of context about this shoe, we saw it at TRE last year and it immediately caught my eye. Asics has really been on the forefront of innovation in shoes. You're looking at with the new Metaspeed Ray, the new Metaspeed Sky and Edge. They're implementing a new midsole. What we're seeing kind of across the industry right now is A-TPU, alphatic TPU, actually starting to take hold, and a lot of brands are choosing that over PEBA for their high-end racing shoes. So, Asics did the same thing here. It's an all-new midsole. It's A-TPU based, and they're calling it FF Turbo Squared. It is different than FF Leap, which is also an A-TPU based midsole. This midsole is much, much firmer than the FF Leap that you're going to find in the Metaspeed Ray. The midsole is really unique. The best way for me to describe it is it's really reactive. It's super poppy. So you're not going to get like that really squishy kind of soft feeling that you get from a lot of the super shoes today. This does have sort of a firmer feeling to it, but it really pops off the ground. So it is pretty quick. I tested it across various paces and I had no trouble, getting down towards tempo, even 5K pace in this shoe. So really kind of a versatile shoe that you can use. Like I would definitely take this on tempo runs, on long runs with marathon pace, things like that. So at the bottom, you can kind of see there is a rubber outsole. It's not exactly full like coverage, but I've had the shoe for a little over a month and it does feel very durable. The upper is a super thin engineered woven material. It kind of reminds me of something you would see in a high-end race shoe or a track spike. It's real thin, it's transparent and breathes a lot. And then also in the heel counter, there is a decent amount of padding. So, you are going to be able to get a decent amount of comfort in the heel for long runs in this shoe. The thing I didn't like is, and I don't know if this was because I have a prototype, but it fit quite large. The upper, it kind of felt like this shoe is very similar to the Superblast 2. And it kind of feels like they built this shoe on the same fitting style as the Superblast, but implemented a much thinner upper. So the result of that is, you're not getting kind of the plush upper that would normally kind of fill this space. I really had to latch down the laces to get a firm grip, and I was able to, but like you can see it here, there's a pretty good amount of bunching in the upper when I did tie it down. This is going to be $225. The Superblast 2 is $200, so you're paying $25 more. $225 is a lot for a everyday shoe. I think you need to think about this a little bit different than an everyday shoe. This is an everyday, I would say, performance shoe. It's quite cushioned. It's got 45 millimeters of foam under the heel, and it's got an 8 millimeter drop. That's the same stats as the midsole as the Superblast 2. It does come in quite lighter than the Superblast 2. So we're looking at, for men's 9 and women's 10.5, we're looking at 8.1 ounces, whereas the Superblast 2 is closer to 9 ounces. So it is noticeably lighter. It's also noticeably less bulky than the Superblast 2. So if you're running in the Superblast 2 and you're finding that to be a little bit difficult to move through the gate because of its size, this would be a great alternative. So that's the Asics Megablast.